First of all, thank you very much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Eman, you often refer to yourself as just an event guy. Do you think that still describes you accurately up to this day?
I used to take pride in calling myself an events guy, that's true. That all changed during COVID times when I got this great wake-up call that unless I reinvent what we do, I'll become redundant. Yeah, it was a time of great reflection. It was a time where events couldn't happen the way they happened before, and the company was on the brink of collapse, right? So it was at that time where from one event in Malta, we had to get out of our comfort zone in Malta, and we launched our first conference in Dubai. Then we became confident about our ability to do conferences outside of Malta. Fast forward a couple of years, nowadays we have 7 conferences across the globe. But that wasn't just events. During COVID, we also launched a VC fund called Ikigai Ventures and a foundation called the Sigma Foundation. So yeah, not anymore just an events guy, but I still remember those days vividly.
Let's imagine this. You are on vacation. You strike a conversation in a bar with someone. They don't know you, obviously, but you strike a conversation and they ask you, what do you do?
Yeah.
Your answer is?
Conferences.
Conferences.
Correct, yeah. Events run in my DNA for sure. I've done it not only for the past 10 years. We are celebrating 10 years of Sigma.
10 years, yeah.
I haven't done events for 10 years. I've been doing events for 20 plus years. So yeah, events will always be in my DNA. And everything else I do, whether it's the foundation, bringing people together for a good cause, whether it's the VC fund, bringing people together to launch great projects, there's always that element of bringing people together, connecting people. And that passion has flourished through my experience doing events.
I was going to ask you what makes a good event, but I think you just answered, like bringing people together.
Yeah, well, it's making sure you're connecting buyers with sellers, whatever that is, yeah. People are there to do business, but we have this mantra, let's first build trust, let's first become friends, and then the business will flow, right? So our conferences have this festival vibe to it, and it has served us really well in the past 10 years.
What is Sigma today then?
It's a global force. It's a platform where not only the industry, but you have affiliates, operators, B2B, regulator, but also players can converge. You know, Sigma is not only about the conferences that happen 8 times a year. Sigma today is also a platform where players can come for trusted reviews of games, trusted reviews of casino sites. It's a place where they can also settle disputes with casinos. And so rather than going to courts and wait ad aeternum for a case to be decided, they can come to us, and they both, player and casino, they both agree that our say is final. So we have been acting as an ADR, an alternative dispute resolution center, for quite some time now as well.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? How does that work? If someone has a dispute, they can contact you directly, not you obviously, but the body?
Yeah, they probably can contact me directly, and I'll pass them through the right channel, because that's how I am. But on our site, on our portal, players can submit a complaint, and we will bring it to the operator's attention. We are a certified and the licensed ADR.
So in some cases you would run sort of investigation?
Correct. We have a team of 6 lawyers working full time with us, and then we have a team of 40 people handling the B2C side of the business.
That's quite interesting. Is that a part of your initiative to make the industry better? That is
Yeah,
definitely not to make money, right?
No, this is interesting. This is a vision which took off also during COVID. What will it take for us to remain competitive over the next 10 years? So we're on a 10-year milestone. Moving forward the next 10 years, what does it take for Sigma to remain ahead of the curve? And I've realized in this industry, in gaming, there's consumers, yes, there's the players, but there's prosumers, players that are extremely knowledgeable about the industry. They know everything about pragmatic play, they know everything about these casinos, they know a lot about what payment methods work best. So they're really, really qualified and savvy players. So the distinction between B2B and B2C is not that distinct anymore, right? So we wanted to have Sigma acting as a platform where players can come. They can come for reviews, yes, if they want a review of a slot game, a review of a casino game. But in that review, they're also seeing the CEO of that slot company speaking on the Sigma stage. Or they're seeing the CMO of that company raising the Sigma trophy because they won best marketing campaign for that slot game. So we have this excellent B2B platform. We have the trust of the B2B community, and we want to leverage this to bring closer to our shores the players. Hopefully, so we have, let's say, around 100,000 B2B community who come to our show. 100,000, more or less.
Globally,
Yeah, that across the 8 shows, they attend our conferences. If we can couple that with 5, 10 million players who every year come to our site for honest reviews, we can also then leverage this to entice operators to keep coming to us, to keep exhibiting with us, because we do have the traffic.
So to my understanding, Sigma is becoming a global brand that unites not only
All
industry
stakeholders,
players,
all stakeholders,
but also
the players themselves. Correct.
And you give that sort of credibility if it has that Sigma sign of quality.
Correct.
Then mean.
Correct.
Right. Wow.
Correct. The best way I can explain it is we want Sigma over the next 10 years to become a trusted platform where regulators, the business community, and the players converge.
Speaking of players, I know that it's also part of your philosophy, conscious approach to players. And you also believe that players have to be protected, respected, and the market has to be regulated.
100%.
What do you do exactly to achieve those goals?
We speak very closely with stakeholders, with governments as well, where gambling is still unregulated. That's why you will see us pioneering in emerging markets, right? If you look at Dubai, they are just regulating the space. We've been there for 4 years waiting for this to happen, and it's finally happening. I believe in a short span of time, the Emirates will also become a mecca for iGaming community. So yes, we work a lot with the governments. We do raise awareness that regulation is the only way to go. If you want to protect your citizens, banning online gambling is not going to solve the problem, because you're simply sending the players underground where they're unprotected, playing on rogue websites. We don't want that. We want the government to understand that regulation is the way to go, to protect the players as aggressively as they deem fit. And it's working, right? If you look around you worldwide, whether it's tier 1 markets like the United States or emerging markets, governments are realizing that regulation is the way to go.
In one of your interviews, you also mentioned that you believe in emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence as a way to protect players. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. Since 2018, we've been hosting AIBC. AIBC is short for Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain. And I believe these two driving technologies will not only be catalysts in protecting players, but they should also become mandatory for casino sites to embrace. And by saying mandatory, I mean regulators making it mandatory to adopt safety tools that make use of such technology to protect the players. I've been seeing, through my VC fund, I've been seeing some projects in AI that promise to have some steam, right? One of them is using artificial intelligence to detect problem gambling, for instance. If you're playing relaxed, having fun on a slot game, the way you click a button has a certain pattern.
Okay.
Once addiction kicks in, the way you click that same button starts evolving, right? And artificial intelligence with big data, with quantum computing in the future as well, can be an excellent tool in detecting problem gambling from happening by informing the operator to, listen, there's action that might need to be taken. Let's protect the player with a safety net to make sure he doesn't fall into the addiction of gambling. So, this is one of many projects out there that augur well in favor of players from falling in the addiction. And yeah, we're big fans of that. We launched the IBC for one reason 6 years ago. The tech community, some of it still frowns upon the online gambling community, right? They think that's the Wild West. They don't want to attend such conferences. So what we did is we created this brand, the IBC, where the likes of Vitalik Buterin and CZ back in the days can attend, knowing that it's a tech conference, not an iGaming conference. We've married those two conferences, so AIBC happens together with Sigma.
In Dubai?
In Dubai, we have it in Malta as well. We have the AIBC stage.
Okay.
So on the AIBC stage, you will find tech luminaries and tech companies. And it is our wish that by bringing those two shows close together, the two communities cross-pollinate between each other. I want the tech community to attend and to see that, okay, there's a lot of regulation going on in gambling. It's not the Wild West as we thought it was. We should invest in bringing our technology closer to this vertical. So this is what we're hoping for, right? We want to be in the driver's seat to bring the two communities closer together. And it's been working very well.
Do you believe that brands do enough now to fight the problem?
All brands are doing enough? Maybe not. But this is why there's a need for more and more content, more and more dialogue. This is why Sigma is there for all stakeholders to converge. If you want to have meaningful change, you need regulators, the business community, and the players themselves to come together, to converge. So that's the role we're playing. Yeah, and that's what we're striving for. And I believe regulators need also to implement policies so technology keeps the industry from falling behind.
We're talking early morning on Saturday. On Monday, Sigma kicks off for the 10th time. What do you expect from this one? And is it going to be the biggest so far?
Yes. By far, yes. We're breaking all records. We're raising the bar once again. Keep in mind, Malta has a lot of limitations.
Yeah.
But despite those limitations, the crowd still wants us to stay in Malta, to keep a show in Malta. Traffic remains an issue. So we decided to move the show from 9 o'clock when there's traffic for school, drive time, to 10 o'clock in the morning. So that will help a bit. But we're expecting 30,000 delegates, which is an absolute record for us. Over 1,000 sponsors and exhibitors, which is another record for us. Yeah. At the MMH, we created a beautiful piazza for that festival vibe. And behind the piazza, we built a fourth shed. So we have the three main sheds, which people saw last year, but we built a fourth shed to accommodate the increasing demands from exhibitors. We have a number of influencers coming over Alex Pereira, UFC champion, Ronaldinho, Brazilian ex-football superstar, a number of players from AC Milan, DJs, world-class DJs, including Jan Blomqvist, who I adore very much. My Spotify is full of his music. So yeah, expect a festival like no other. I like to call this the mother of all conferences for a reason.
Right. Don't you think that the size is becoming an issue itself? I mean, like 30,000 people, 1,000 exhibitors. Is it not becoming really hard for attendees to just navigate through the event, to find business? Actually, I mean, size is good, but
Yeah.
if you're too big, it's becoming just impossible to...
Look, exhibitors have rated our show as the conference where the most business is done compared to any other show out there, and Sigma for them is the best ROI. And that's why we keep breaking records every year. Yeah, there's so many conferences these days, like 2 per month. It's a lot. Yet fatigue doesn't come into play when it comes to Sigma in Malta. So clearly, the industry wants this show, right? And we have a solution, though. In order to mitigate the traffic situation which crops up, we moved the show to 10 o'clock, but for 2025, we plan to move Malta Week to the beginning of September, replacing our show in Budapest. And there's no traffic those days because there's no school. So literally half the country is not on the roads in the morning. And that will help a lot. Yeah, what's happening in November? Yes, the show in Malta cannot grow physically anymore. So we decided to go to the #1 destination, the most central city in Europe, making it easy for everyone to either come by train, even by car, or by plane. There's 3 airports. And this city is none other than the beautiful city of Milan.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
That's, wow.
Yeah,
So you're moving...
everyone's happy. The community that wants the show in Malta will have Malta in September.
Will you keep it the same size? Will you
Absolutely.
be able to?
We're going to keep it at the MMH. And we plan on keeping it as a big, massive show. By taking the November show to Milan, we're going to be able to grow and give exhibitors the size of booths that they want, be able for the community from Poland, France, Austria, Germany, Switzerland to literally drive to the show because of the proximity. And, Milan has a lot to offer, whether it's fashion, whether it's nightlife, whether it's cuisine, whether it's culture with the Duomo. Milan has a lot to offer. So I'm really excited about it.
Beautiful place. It is a very beautiful
Correct.
place.
And there's something else. You look at the stats. If you do some research, ask your compliance guys, ask your legal team, do some research, understand, and you'll understand that in Europe, after the UK, the Italian market is the biggest gambling market in Europe. However, unlike the UK, which is, has plateaued, and with the UKGC, that market has plateaued. The Italian market is still in its embryonic stage. So there's huge opportunity for growth. And once again, we want to be in that driver's seat where we bring the entire community, the business community together. We bring the government from Italy to the table. So hopefully we can navigate a way forward for this industry to thrive also in Italy.
Has already been an official announcement for that?
This is being aired on Saturday. It's going to be aired after the show. So yeah, during the show, it's going to be the big announcement.
Have you consulted your clients? Have you, I don't know, it's such a big decision. And then what was behind the decision? Did you research a lot? Did you talk to your clients? Like, what was on the table except for Milan? Did you ever even consider any other cities in Europe?
We did. We love to be innovators. We want to go where no one has been before. So me going to London wasn't an option. ICE have done an excellent job there. They left London, went to Barcelona. I'm not going to London. Me going to Amsterdam was a no-go. Again, the Clarion team have done amazingly well in Amsterdam, and I don't want to be the one following. We want to offer something unique. And quite frankly, the Italian market is buzzing. It's central. And yeah, it aligns perfectly with where we want to go.
Right.
But yeah, you asked me about research.
Yeah.
Of course, we did our research. We spoke to hundreds of gaming companies, not simply by sending an email questionnaire. We sat down with them. We did in-depth questionnaires, and the feedback has been overwhelming about this solution. We will retain a show in Malta. We will also expand with a show in Milan. Like this, everyone is happy.
So in Eastern Europe, there won't be Sigma no more, right? If I understand you correctly, you're
Correct.
moving the show from Budapest to Malta.
Correct. That's
and Malta's show, you move to Milan.
Correct.
Right. And then let's talk a little bit about
Budapest. Look,
Budapest.
Budapest.
What happened there? I heard personally some feedback that people didn't exactly like it. What is your response to this? Was you personally happy? If you weren't, then why?
Yeah, so the Sigma East Europe never really had a home. We did it for 3 years. The first year we went to Belgrade. It was a small show. Second year we went to Limassol. The show grew. Third year we went to Budapest, and the show kept on growing. But with our ears to the ground, we're also sensitive and cognizant to the fact that we don't need an East Europe show for the Slavic community and the Balkan community to come. You know, we see the Slavs everywhere we go, whether we go to Asia, to Brazil, or to Malta, or to Dubai, they're always with us. So that, coupled with the fact that there's still tensions going on in East Europe, we felt that it was the right time to bring the show to Malta and make sure that it has a home where it can grow faster.
Would you keep an Affiliate World conference in Budapest? There are some plans about that.
Yeah, Affiliate World, we are partners. Yeah, we are shareholders in the business, but the decision making is ultimately up to a committee, not just us. So,
Okay.
yeah, Affiliate World will not be moving to Malta next year. It will stay in Budapest.
Right. So only Sigma. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. In your opinion, just in your opinion, did anything go wrong in Budapest? Was it like miscalculation to move it there, or just...
No. We're very happy also to have done the show with Affiliate World. Very, very happy with the results. But again, when you have clients telling you, listen, there's tensions going on with Russia and Ukraine, and maybe other tensions as well going on, that it wasn't the right time for them to be exhibiting and pushing for that market. So we want to be sensitive to the needs of the community, and for that, among other reasons, we decided to... It was the perfect opportunity for us to push Malta into Milan, but also make sure that Malta retains a conference for the gaming community here.
You always say, go global, act local. Can you elaborate on this philosophy a bit more?
Yeah, with pleasure. It was a term I learned reading a book by Thomas Friedman, who talks about glocalization.
Global.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it means. Go global, act local. And yeah, we've done it by embracing multiple offices worldwide. We have 7 offices around the world to make sure that the events that we run are built by people from the community. So we have an office in India to handle our South Asian market. We have an office in Philippines to handle Sigma Asia. We have an office in Sao Paulo to handle Sigma Americas. We have an office in Belgrade. We have an office also in Malta, in Cyprus. So we have a solid presence around the world, and that's to make sure that we do not lose the local touch. Our website is in 10 languages, so any piece of news that we dish out goes way outside English-speaking shores. We have Russian, Portuguese, Thai, Korean, simple Mandarin. And that has helped us to become truly a global brand, but still close to the local communities.
You mentioned that everywhere you go, the Slavic community would follow, and I presume that American community would also be there, like South Asia, Asian community would also be there. And what I wanted to ask you, for different shows, is that the same team that organize it, or like your event in Brazil would be Brazilian team that organize it?
Yeah, it's a mix of both. Okay. It's a mix of both. There's the core team who is there to ensure consistency of the brand and the quality of the product, but then the locals are the ones who are in touch with the speakers from the community, the exhibitors from the community, so on and so forth.
Just wanted to move you a little bit back to the events themselves. I recently heard, people talk about fluctuations in Latin markets, like in Brazil particularly. How are you doing on those markets? Are you extremely successful? Are you growing with the same pace you're growing here?
Yeah. I think those two shows will soon overtake Malta as the biggest shows. LATAM is growing exponentially, a huge demand for the region. And Asia as well, don't underestimate how powerful the Asian market is. And no one knows the Asian client base better than we do. It's literally, you see all the Asian gaming community coming out of the trenches. They do not attend any other show but Sigma in the Philippines.
Okay.
So we're extremely proud of that. And that show has been growing exponentially as well. So those two emerging markets, we are the dominant force for iGaming conferences. There used to be another show which has a lot of legacy, a great conference which used to happen in Macau.
Yeah.
Then it moved to Singapore. Last year the dates clashed between us and G2E, but I was really pleased with the outcome.
Business is good in Brazil, like shortly in Latam, business is good.
Extremely good,
Extremely good.
Extremely good.
You have this show in Philippines, and you mentioned when we last met each other in Budapest, you mentioned to me that there's going to be another show in Asia, in Sri Lanka. Is one show not enough, or you want to cover slightly different geography?
No, I'll explain. Look at Europe. How many shows are there in Europe for a population of 500 million people? How many shows? I don't know, 10? What? There's a lot.
Few,
There's a lot. 10 shows or 10 shows for a population of 500 million people. Okay, it's a mature market. Look at Asia, 4.5 billion people.
If you're counting China.
4.5 billion people in Asia, We're counting everything and everything. 500 million, 4.5 billion. Do you think Asia deserves more than one or two shows? I think time will tell. I think South Asia in itself, between 5 countries, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, between those 5, 2 billion people. That's a quarter of the world population.
And also growing economies. India grows
insanely robust.
Fast, right?
Insanely robust. There's gaming companies there focusing on tech, outsourcing IGT, No Limit City, Pragmatic Play, big international brands who have solid presence there. So you tell me South Asia alone doesn't deserve to have its own expo? Time will tell. We decided to go there.
I just recently learned that cricket is the second popular sport in the world, mainly
because of them. Betting, you start understanding the cultural norms and what players like. And yes, cricket is the number 1 in South Asia, followed by soccer. And funnily enough, which was a surprise to me, Kabaddi is the third largest sports betting sport in South Asia.
And the local market is big enough to just
Insane.
compete with...
And the spending power is growing steadily there as well. So a lot of South Asians, thanks to this hybrid work and remote work, they're landing extremely lucrative jobs. So it's creating a new middle class in the region. And I see very positive signs for iGaming in the region.
It's a big opportunity because people also speak English mainly.
Correct.
In there. But then let me ask you...
Correct, and this is what we're doing. With the show in South Asia, we timed it well with Affiliate World in Bangkok. So people fly to us, then next day they fly to Bangkok. And with one round trip, they got 2 shows in South Asia covered. But that's why we did the show, right? We're telling everyone that we know, whether you're a gaming company in LATAM, North America, in Europe, in Asia, come to us, come to learn, come to meet industry players from South Asia, come to meet the government from Sri Lanka, understand what's going on, and mark my words, the likelihood is that you will invest in the region.
Eman, let me ask you this, why then Sri Lanka? Why not? Why wouldn't you want to keep it in Bangkok, or logically to me at least, why wouldn't you do a show in India?
Great question. Of course, we did our research. We don't just wake up one fine day and say, let's go for a holiday in Sri Lanka. No, it doesn't work like that. India is still in its process of regulating the space. So we're still in touch with the government. And when the time is right, we will consider places like Goa more favorably. But we chose Sri Lanka, Colombo, the capital city, because of its excellent flight connections, its great infrastructure. So they're building one of the greatest integrated resorts, City of Dreams. So it will be an excellent destination to combine not only business, but with pleasure. And the Sri Lankan government has been laying out the red carpet to have our conference in Sri Lanka. So for those 3 reasons, we felt that Sri Lanka was the right choice.
That's more often than not. At Sigma, you always see government representatives from some government bodies. Is that deliberately part of your strategy?
Absolutely.
That you try to
Not
build
only
those bridges?
Not only governments from the host city or the host country. We also invite regulators from other jurisdictions. Like if you come to the Malta show, you'll see the regulators from Isle of Man, from Jib, from Vanuatu.
They even have
Curaçao.
sometimes booths. I saw a booth
Vanuatu, Curaçao, Isle of Man, they're all exhibiting.
Exhibiting,
It's important that, as I told you before, we bring the stakeholders together. Sigma needs to be a place where players, where the business community, but also legislators and regulators converge. And for this to happen, we need to lay out the red carpet for all regulators of the industry.
How smart it is, instead of just banning the whole thing, the entire thing, you try to understand it better, how important it is for the government to find this place where they can go and meet the industry.
Correct.
And understand it better.
Correct.
It is a smart thing. So you have that kind of warm welcome in Sri Lanka as well. Do you expect
full endorsement?
Government?
Full endorsement with letter of support, not a sanction letter, a letter of support, and much more than that. So the government has been really, really welcoming.
Last thing I wanted to touch here before I let you go is your philanthropy initiatives. There are 2 approaches to this. One, that you don't need to talk about it, right? More like biblical approach, do and do not say about it. I'm more in favor of second approach, that you actually need to talk about it. To encourage others to do this. When you do good, you need to talk about this. Can we talk about this?
With pleasure. Okay. This is a conundrum which I faced in the past as well. I love charity that isn't publicized. But I also understand I'm in a sweet spot where the industry converges, right? The gaming community comes to Sigma. And I want to use this platform to raise more and more awareness. And you raise awareness not by staying quiet. You raise awareness by being vociferous about the causes that you're supporting. And because Sigma is also synonymous with emerging markets, we felt that the foundation needs to be in those emerging markets as well. So we're building schools in Ethiopia, not one school, but a school every year.
Schools, right?
Physical buildings, yeah. And this year, we just inaugurated a school in Ethiopia to empower women from neighboring villages.
Yeah, there is an initiative called Women Empowerment.
The Women Empowerment Project, yeah. We inaugurated a school that has classrooms to empower women, to teach them skills which they can use in the community.
Right.
So that has been launched a few weeks ago. We launched another school in summer, shortly after Sigma Asia. We flew into Bataan and we built a multi-sensory school for the community there to learn music and to also have students from poor villages come together. We have projects in LATAM this time, in Colombia, in Peru. We're building also a sports school in one of the favelas in Sao Paulo, where we have Sigma Americas. So the projects are happening all the time. Yeah, we launch 4 or 5 projects every year.
Do you fund all those projects with your own money?
Yeah, our own money, but as the foundation. So we do give part of every ticket. So you see all these delegates at our show.
Yeah.
Part of every ticket that is bought is donated directly to the Sigma Foundation, and every delegate can choose which of the projects they want to give money to. We raise money during the Sigma Awards. We auction art pieces. So I see a lot of support from the gaming companies there, where they're generous with their money. And we also do fundraising events throughout the year.
Do you see that the industry does enough? Do you see that players encouraged by what you do? Do you see more companies actually going into this charity projects?
The foundation is a few years old, and I'm realizing more and more that there's a direct correlation between how much we do coverage about the projects that we do and the response from the gaming community. So the more we talk about it, the more the gaming community wants to get involved. So we've mastered that piece. We're at the moment in the process of integrating the Sigma Foundation to our B2C side of the business. So when players decide to enter any casino, which we recommend, we're also telling them, listen, there's these projects. Feel free to support any of these projects. So we're trying to bring the Sigma Foundation not only close to the industry, but also close to the players. And that's a process in the making.
Are you planning to grow it even bigger? If you can tell me how do you envision Sigma Foundation, not Sigma as business, but as a charity?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little story. This comes from the core.
Please.
Yeah, so when I was in my early 30s, my dream was to become a millionaire. And I measured that million in euros or in dollars. Right, so I wanted to become a millionaire. Well, just like many others have this little dream, Fast forward 10 years, now in my early 40s, I want to once again become a millionaire. But this time I'm measuring that million, not in dollars, but in the positive impact I can leave among those in need the most. In other words, if I can positively impact 1 million child below the poverty line, then I have become a millionaire as well.
Do you think that at a certain point in your life, maybe when you are in your early 50s, you would transition completely from business to philanthropy?
100%. 100%. I look forward to the day where I can divest. At the moment, it's 70-30, right? 70 business, 30 foundation. I look forward to the day when it becomes 70 foundation, 30 business. Yeah.
And lastly, Eman, tell me, how do you envision Sigma as a business unit, as many, in fact, business units in 10 years? as banal as that, but
Yeah.
what is your vision?
Yeah, well, it's, again, we want to remove the stigma that online gambling may have among some players, among some regulators. So from stigma to sigma, we
From
joke.
stigma to sigma.
We joke about
It is a very
the slogan,
stigmatized business. still.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are not shy to talk about it. You know, if we want to call it gambling, we call it gambling. We don't call it gaming. So I see a future in the next 10 years where we help to remove the stigma because the regulators, the industry and the players have converged on our platform. It's not a project short term, but as you said, it's a 10-year mission, and that's where we have our target set.
Thank you very much for this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you for such intelligent questions as well.
Thank you.